number 5.
The Steelers beat them. I think if they played again, it would be a coin flip. But listen, they held Lamar to under 50% completion rate and Derrick Henry under 70 rushing yards. And Russell Wilson is 4-0 as a starter. Here's what I really like about them. They're 5-0 against teams with a winning record. That's so Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's his teams often play poorly against mediocre teams or bad teams. But if you back Mike Tomlin teams into a corner against a winning team or they're an underdog, they're fantastic. 2-0 in games this year without scoring a touchdown. The rest of the league is 2-18. So they can win multiple ways. Pittsburgh at 5.
Yeah. I really love this. That game shows you really what Mike Tomlin brings to this team. That game against the Baltimore Ravens. Because you could see how ill-prepared the Baltimore Ravens are. I mean, just think about this. The Baltimore Ravens have the reigning MVP, Lamar Jackson, who's playing obviously unbelievable this season. And they went to the AFC Championship game last year. And a lot of people think that they were the better team, even though they obviously lost. They dominated teams last year. They dominated the Miami Dolphins, I think, in a standalone game. The 49ers in a standalone game, right? Like, they had all that momentum. They obviously came up short last year. And so now they're like, not again. Not again. Things are going to change. Let's go. And they get Derrick Henry and stuff, and they're like, here we go. Come on. Right? Our tight end's finally healthy. Here we are. And yet, they're just so ill-prepared in these big moments, in these big games. They had 12 penalties. They're getting in fights with Steelers. They're just a mess. Now let's compare that to the Steelers, who in this game are ready. They're prepared. They're focused. They're disciplined. They're determined. They're willing to do the dirty work. Like, that is who they are. That is what they have. Yes, Russ had a really bad turnover. He tried to do a little bit too much. Happens to every quarterback. Definitely a bad decision, right? We can't ignore that. But if you take away that and just kick the field goal or can maybe actually obviously get a touchdown, the score is obviously even going to be a little bit more substantial. You also, mix things up a little bit. And it's one of those things where to see them not only win big against teams, but then also to win ugly, also to win multiple games without scoring a touchdown. Again, that's that grittiness. That's that toughness. Obviously, you always want to be able to see your offense hang like 40-some points and your defense hold a team to like 18 or less, right? Like, obviously, that's always the ideal. Having your quarterback ball out, your run game ball out, your defense attacking the quarterback, like that, obviously. But not all games are going to be like that. So being able to win a game like this, 18-16, look no further than the Chiefs versus the Ravens last year in a, 17-10, I believe. Like, we know, Pittsburgh Steelers know this especially, the weather is always going to get worse come time playoffs. It's windy, it's snowy, it's rainy, it's whatever. I mean, it's literally everything. And so being able to win these games, being able to be focused in these games is so crucial. And you look at the other team in your division, and they can't do it. They can't stay focused. They can't stay organized. They're out there getting an insane amount of penalties. And so to me, that contrast really, really highlights who the Pittsburgh Steelers are. And this is what I said in my previous clip about this, is like, the Steelers have been just a competent quarterback away from being a legitimate contender. Again, obviously, the better the quarterback, the better you're going to be. But because of who they are, because of their toughness, because of how well coached they are, and how they always execute on game day, all they needed was just a competent quarterback who's going to make the right decision more often than not. And this is what you're going to get. And it's awesome to see. They're 8-2. They're literally a top team in the NFL. I mean, seriously. They're a game away from being tied for the best record in the NFL. And that's what's so gut-wrenching, because they had that game against the Cowboys. I mean, they should have won that game against the Cowboys. They should be competing for the best seed, the number one seed. They absolutely should be, and they still can. They obviously got to continue to take care of business. They obviously have some other tough games coming their way. And you never know, a couple of those random games where you're like, oh my God, how did we lose that game? But if they can minimize that, I think it's very real that the Broncos could lose. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs, because I think the Broncos could beat the Chiefs. Same thing with the Chargers. So that number 1 seed, home field advantage, first round bye, like that is a possibility for the Steelers. And again, you obviously still have the Bills as well. Like, I'm not telling you that it's easy, but this is what's at stake. The Steelers could literally have the number 1 seed, home field advantage, and a bye. I mean, I don't need to tell y'all, you guys know this. That would be huge for the Steelers. Huge for the Steelers. Especially for some of these other guys that don't have the Super Bowl and playoff experiences like Mike Tomlin, like Russ. So it goes a long way to be able to have that support. And we know Pittsburgh gets a little rough in the winter come time January. Those just cold, like wet, cloudy days. We know that. I know that. I lived there. I looked up recently. I didn't realize, because I haven't been there in a while, I didn't know that the O shut down. I am bummed. I am still dreaming of those bacon cheeseburgers and french fries. I am bummed that the O shut down, because I looked it up. I was like, oh, you know what? Let me see this. And then I saw that it was closed. And I was like, are you serious? How'd the O close? This is crazy. But I digress. This is just really cool to see the Steelers see what they've been able to do. It just goes to show you how important it is to have a competent quarterback. And that's why you should not waste time with these quarterbacks where you're like, I don't know. Yeah, no. If you have to question it, then it's like the answer is no. Keep finding. Whether it's the draft, free agency, whatever it is, just keep trying. Keep going. Keep going. Because, I mean, they're instantly a contender now. Instantly a contender. If Russ stays healthy, if Russ can stay composed and not get a little too excited in moments and just realize what wins games, and he continues to develop his relationship with his receivers, which he already has, and his OC, I mean, we see how the Chiefs are playing, and the Bills are playing, and the Ravens obviously are playing. You're not going to tell me that the Steelers are not in that arena with them. You're not going to tell me that they're on a lower level than them. If the Chiefs have to go to Pittsburgh with that gritty, tough defense and an offense that is really well organized and also showing that they can win an ugly 18-16 game, you're not going to tell me, dude, the only way that the Steelers can win that game is if they score 30 points. Like, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that at all. So the Steelers are right there. They are right there. They do need to improve a little bit. You always need to improve, obviously. I think trying to lock down that number 1 seed would go, obviously, an incredibly long way. I think it would be a little bit more important for a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers rather than, say, like a Kansas City Chiefs team or even a Buffalo Bills team. I don't know. Depends. But, yeah. I think also having like an older quarterback like Russ, getting that bye could also go a long way as well. And, Mike Tomlin getting this extra time, extra rest in the playoffs. I really genuinely think that this could be an AFC contender. So there's a lot at stake. I hope they can stay focused. I hope they don't drop the ball. If they just get beat by better teams, then so be it. It's obviously always fair game, but I just never like to see a team beat themselves. That's always a tough one to watch. So I think the Steelers are in the driver's seat right now. They have it. And I'm just, we're so close now to the playoffs. It's like so close yet so far. Honestly, obviously we're not even at Thanksgiving yet, but it just feels like, oh my God, right? We're just right there to like start to really have these games matter. And when you see 8-2, you have the Chiefs lose now, and you're just like, well, hey, right now the number 1 seed is up for grabs. Seemingly, you just need a little bit of luck. You need to take care of business at home, and you got it. So we will see. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Pittsburgh Steelers being a top 5 team in the NFL and a legit contender? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.